we just wanted to say a massive thank you to our podcast sponsor, Kevin Murphy, distributed by Ozday, and thank them for being the most amazing brand partner for Salon Rising. This brand is truly incredible and we are so excited to work alongside you.
Hey lovers, welcome back to the Inner Sanctum. This week on the Salon Rising podcast, we are joined by some of our favourite humans, the incredible duo Shay and Helina from Barefaced and Naked Podcast. Honestly, love these girls so much. We are diving into evolving your business. Guys, change can be scary. Evolving is empowering. Take a step back to move forward, benefits of working in different environments, playing to our strengths, and some of those little Samara takeaways that the girls just can't live without. We hope you enjoy this podcast, guys. It's great to hear what the girls have been doing and some of the exciting things they've got coming up in the works as well. So enjoy.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Salon Rising podcast. We are joined today by our special guests, Shay and Helina from Barefaced and Naked Podcast.
Welcome, guys.
Crushed it.
Hello. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you. Yeah, this is so nice.
We're
Being on the other side.
Yeah, I was going to say, we're so excited.
We're like role reversals.
I love it. We were at breakfast this morning and we were literally like, how good that we just get to go on and sit on a podcast. We don't have to do any of like the thinking behind hosting it.
It's just thank you for having us.
Yeah, we were honoured to be
thanks.
asked to be on it with you guys.
How long? I reckon it's been 2 years since I was on your first.
You
like
were
I was
in-
on the
Was it
first
really?
time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
You
was
were one
pregnant
of
with
our
Wild.
first,
Yeah.
Samara was one of our actual first
Like OG guests.
Yeah. You were still in Brisbane. You were still recording from Brisbane.
Oh
that
my
little box.
goodness.
Yeah.
Oh, the little box.
The little box.
Wow.
Yeah. So
times have
that was
changed.
like 2 years ago. So
That's
there's
wild.
been, yeah,
That has gone really fast.
loads and loads and loads of change since then
Oh, yeah.
for me and for you guys. But
Yeah.
that's kind of what I want to get into today is you guys have both had a massive change, which I think is really relevant to our industry of, you know, being okay with change, being okay with
Yeah, very
moving
much
from
so.
Helena's moved from home salon to in studio. Shay has kind of moved from her salon into renting a chair so that she can focus on other things. So I think that's really cool too, because we get stuck in this mindset both ways. You know, we think that that's the better way to go or that's the better way to go or and then, you know, even for you coming to the idea of like downsizing and going the other way and
Letting it
feeling
go.
okay with that
Yeah.
and letting it go. So this is a really cool conversation because we've had it on both sides, and I think there's a lot of, you know, single operators out there that are in this kind of space. Where do I go? What do I do? How do I make these decisions? And I obviously saw these decisions with you guys a long time ago. So it's not something that you guys have jumped straight into.
No.
Yeah.
We would chat about it with you in our little
Yep.
one-on-ones. And be
Constantly.
like, is this an idea? And you're like, Shay, Helina, do it, go for it. And we're like, we're just going to sit with it for a few months
Yeah.
before we jump.
Yep.
But the idea gets planted with your help.
Yeah, it's so funny because I've seen so much of that. I'm like, I remember that. Oh, yep, that's idea. Oh, yep, that's that idea. So I think we worked together in November. So November's when we finished.
Yes.
Wow.
So we're in September.
That feels like
the following year.
wow.
I know.
Yeah.
I know it was.
so nice.
So I would love to know, Gally, pick whoever's going up first.
You go first.
Where you're,
Okay.
where
I'm
you're
I'm having a
joining
tear.
us.
I don't know why. I've got watery eyes right now. Maybe you go first. I don't know if I'm like emotional or like my eyes are sore, but I'm having a tear.
She's crying.
I'll let you speak for a
She's
second.
crying. She's so emotional
Hold
because
the
we're all
microphone
together
and going
again.
first. I'm really taking one for the team today.
So Helina, your journey has developed because you were at home and you now are in studio. You're
Yes.
renting a room in a studio. Tell us why, how you feeling?
So I obviously, as everyone knew, I was a home-based studio for just over 2 years. Loved it.
Yeah.
And I absolutely loved working from home, and end goal is to do that again.
Okay.
I changed from being a home-based studio to I basically rent a room as well
Yep.
within like a holistic health clinic.
Yep.
Still in Blah Blah on the sunny coast. I'm literally a minute 30 from where I used to be.
Yeah,
So there's like no change from my clientele or anything. And the whole kind of process just aligned
Yeah, perfect.
really perfectly,
Yep.
which made me feel very like confident in it. So I met my partner end of last year. We already met each other, but we decided to start seeing each other then. And then, fast forward we decided to kind of make that move and move in together. In that time, my chiropractor, who was building her studio in Bly Bly, was kind of using my brow room when I was down here with Shay on a Monday.
Yeah, okay.
So we just kind of had that kind of ball rolling, and she would come and see her clients here, get them used to coming to Bly Bly. And then it was kind of like, okay, well, now I need you.
Yeah,
so when Keegan and I decided to move in together, my main priority was I need somewhere to work because I was home-based studio.
So have you left your house?
Yeah.
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 Oh, okay.
Where are you living? In Brisbane? Are you in?
Yeah.
You're in Brisbane?
Yeah, so I don't even live on the sunny coast
Wow.
anymore. Yeah. So I'm like North Brisbane.
Yeah, okay.
I
feel like that's good for you and I.
Yeah, hey, Sally.
Oh, I'll tell you what, as soon as I was doing it, Shay's like, just keep coming down.
I was thinking that because I was thinking back to Shay saying like, I'll get her down
I'll
this
get
way.
her.
You just wait.
So we're North Brisbane. We're North Brisbane. We're getting closer.
Honestly. So then I had a sit down with Lauren, the chiropractor who owns the clinic I'm in now. And I was just like, what's your vibes? Like, do you have a treatment room that I could potentially like rent off you? She was like, oh my God, absolutely. So as soon as that was like confirmed, Keegan and I got the ball rolling with like the other side of things.
Yeah, okay.
So, and like I said, it all just happened so beautifully. Like the house got rented out really nice and quickly. The move to the salon was perfectly, like within a week, I had moved my house, I had moved my job, and I then went in.
Lot happening at
Uprooted
one
your
time,
entire life.
Literally.
Yeah, wow.
And then I went in for, I had a surgery that week as well.
Whoa.
So it was a massive week.
You do everything in like full
She
force
does
at one
full
go.
force.
But I made it work.
Yeah.
And realistically, North Brisbane is where like my family is as well.
Yeah,
So it's
okay.
kind of like moving back home.
Yep.
So yeah, and fast forward, I've been there for, I think 8-9 months now.
Yep.
I'm loving it.
Yeah, okay.
I'm really feeling like a creative flow being surrounded by other women in business.
Yep.
Because it is like there's like contractors in there as well. So naturopath, masseuse, chiros, very different than like
What
a random
great
brow artist.
place to be surrounded.
Oh my God. I use and abuse all of them. They all have amazing eyebrows though. So, but yeah, no. So, and it's just like a beautiful calming space to be in.
Yeah.
And in our industry, we do long ass hours.
Yeah.
So to be in an environment that's just so soothing, I really have like felt that within my clientele as well.
nice.
So,
And how many days are you doing a week?
4.
Yeah, okay. How long's the
Yeah,
drive?
what's your travel?
I mean, from where I am heading to the sunny coast, there's not really traffic.
Yeah, okay.
So it takes me about 45.
That's not too bad.
Yeah, it's really
Yep.
not that bad. It's
Yep.
a podcast. Sometimes it's
Yeah.
just silence.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a phone call with a friend or a family member.
Yep.
Like it's time that I didn't have to myself that I realized I
It's
actually
forced
needed.
time to yourself
Exactly.
now. Yeah.
I was obviously, working 10-hour days in my home studio, and then from literally finishing my last client within the minute, walking out and either conversing with my housemate, trying to be a present friend, or when I started seeing like Keegan, I had to be like a present partner and whatnot. So it was just kind of like, oh my God, like having 45 minutes to like decompress my day is amazing.
Yeah.
So I'm, and I think obviously working from home, you don't have that travel time in between.
Yeah.
So you don't realize how much you're kind of actually missing that forced time to yourself.
Yeah. And
So-
I feel like you realize how much energy gets sucked into your house with other people.
Well, that was a massive
Yeah.
thing as well. I only kind of started staging my home when I met Samara. So, and it was,
Sorry, the first time you're like, what do I do? It's like, how do I?
Do I smoke it?
yeah, do I like let it just
What do I
chill?
do?
But no, it's so true. Like with what we do, we are like within the beauty industry, you're like literally a therapist. Like beauty therapist is literally what we are. So, and like you take on everyone else's kind of problems because no one really wants to talk about the good stuff going on sometimes in their life.
Yeah.
It's always like,
and I feel like too with us, and I always say this to the girls, like nobody wants you to give them advice.
oh, they just want you to listen.
They just want you to listen.
They just
And
wanna
they
vent.
want you to be on their side 100%.
Oh yeah,
So if
clients are never wrong.
if they're telling you the craziest story where you think, mate, you are mental, like
Babes, I'm
this
with
is
ya.
all
Yeah.
on you.
Girl, you got it.
You just have to be
That's
like,
it.
yeah, girl, you do your thing.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, yeah.
Literally. So, but yeah, that's kind of me where I'm at with work at the moment. I'm loving it.
Do you want to eventually go back home again?
Definitely.
Why?
So yeah. Flexibility.
Yeah, okay.
Kind of end goal for myself and Keegan is to build a home.
Yep.
And I'd love to build a studio separate
Yeah,
to the house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So not like walking through the same door to my home. It'd be clients would literally walk separately into a studio,
Yep.
own bathroom, everything. So
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're at home, but it's not in
in
your
home. Yeah. And
Do
it would be separate.
you feel though that going into the studio has given you, this is something you and I haven't spoken about, given you more boundaries, given you more set things around work? Like obviously it's like if you're going to be there, you may as well get your day really booked because you're not going to drive 45 minutes. Not to, it's kind of conscious on that, or do you feel it's the same?
Kind of yes and no in a way. I feel like I set more boundaries around clientele.
Yeah,
You don't see
okay.
me doing clients at like 8 o'clock at night anymore.
Yeah, okay.
But in a sense, obviously, you know, Shay and I and Anthea have another business now. So
Yep.
when I'm not with clients, I'm still working on
Yeah.
that business at home.
Yes.
So like more probably boundaries around clientele.
Yep.
Working hours. I mean, you're a business owner, Samara. Tell me what your working hours are.
No one wants to know that.
Got you there.
But yeah, so but I
It's
definitely
more so know that like the setness of it. Like I know when I'm here.
Yeah, you're on
it's-
with
100%.
I'm 8:30 till 9:30 at night normally, but you know I know that that's my day.
Yeah.
So you can kind of set those hours. Whereas I know even when I used to do stuff from home, it becomes a little bit more flexible of what your day is, and
Yeah.
you just have that little bit more structure and routine around it because you have to go to the studio anyway. So you may as
Yeah.
well.
I feel like definitely kind of with what you said then, like we like when we're working on Ash education and stuff, I'm like, okay guys, well from, you know, 8 o'clock till 4 o'clock today, I'm contact hours with clients.
Yeah.
I'm not contactable to you because I'm with my client. And like I've said from literally day one with brows for me, it is my zone out time. I am not present with anything else in life but that eyebrow.
Yeah.
And that for me is like my escape.
Yeah,
Like from
amazing.
everything. Like
Yeah.
I'm
And
working
how nice
on that
to
eyebrow.
think that what you're doing as a career is your escape. Like
100%.
that's the
It
definition
is.
of purpose, right?
And it's so true, I guess. I think when I get on hair, I'm the same way. Like,
Yeah.
I'll be on my phone all day
Yeah.
when I'm not here, but when I'm here,
You're here.
I don't touch it once
Yeah.
because I'm so zoned into being with my clients
Exactly.
and creating. Yeah.
Exactly. And, you know, we all mix. I mean, you guys mix more colors than Shay and I with brows. I don't know how you do that. But, like, you know, you got to concentrate and you got to, you know, then remember what you spoke about with that client 4 weeks ago. And
Yeah.
just remember things in, like, with their life as well as your own. And
Yeah.
it's just like being present with them is like, that's my priority at that time of the day. And the girls are all really respective of that as well.
Will
So.
you stay in Brisbane? Will you need to start building a clientele in Brisbane now?
I already have a clientele in Brisbane that have travelled to me for years.
Wow.
Yeah, because that's where like I'm from originally.
Yeah, okay.
And then everyone was driving up to see me.
Yeah.
So I mean, realistically, I don't know where I'm going to go with it yet, but
Yeah.
I feel very comfortable with that with my clients.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Love.
Yeah.
All right, Miss Shay.
My turn.
Your turn.
Okay. I think last time.
So the last time we spoke,
Yeah, you tell me. What was I
the
doing?
last time we spoke, you were obviously in the salon.
I was, yeah.
But
yeah.
we'd always played with this idea of, I think as we'd worked together, we'd played with this idea of like, what will life look like if I didn't have the salon?
Yes.
You've obviously been traveling a lot for education, and we'll go into Ash soon. You've been traveling a lot for education. You'd been starting to be like, I don't want, you know, we dabbled in staff, and I
Yep.
was like, don't do it. And you did
Yep.
it, and you were like, don't do
Ah,
it.
don't do it. Working for yourself is so much easier.
And then obviously, like, so you did all the amazing changes
I
that
had
I
to
was
tick
like,
everything off,
first
right?
do
Yeah.
this before you
Yeah.
remove yourself from the salon.
Yeah.
But talk us through when, how, what,
Yeah.
and you know how
Yeah,
you're
because
feeling
I think
now.
the last time I saw you, you were just on the precipice of this. Like it was
Yes.
like it was about to happen.
Yeah.
yeah, it was.
yeah.
It was at our
Dinner.
dinner.
Yeah.
So I think the idea of selling the salon came in because you said, I sold my old salon. And I was like, what? Like, what do you mean?
I remember saying that to you for the
It was like a
first
light
time,
bulb.
and you were like, huh?
Because I thought, you know, I always went into building the salon, putting money into the renovations, buying the furniture, thinking, I'm going to do this. I'm going to get nothing in return. It is what it is. That's the kind of point of
Yeah, I think I remember saying, and you were like,
it. Yeah. And you're like, Shay, sell what you've done. Like,
sell the space.
have someone take over your lease, but sell the space and sell the furniture. And I was like, holy fuck. Like,
I remember Shay calling me and being like, did you know you can do this?
Yeah.
I was like, no.
and so
The
when you
coolest
said
thing about that for anyone out there that's thinking, what?
Yeah.
So you don't sell the space
Not the
because
block.
you have a lease.
Or
Yeah.
your business.
But or the business,
Yes.
but you sell the fact that you set up a salon. So I
Yeah.
did this when we moved from the old La Sorella to the La Sorella we're in now, because like no one was going to be able to. You can't set a space up for under
turnkey, walk in, everything.
100 grand. Like there's
No.
so much
yeah,
money.
exactly.
Where it is beautiful and everything's set, and you just walk in and you go, well, here's the money. I'll walk in and start, and you don't have to do anything. You can start the next day. So for me, I almost did. So when I first started La Sorella, I couldn't find a space anywhere, and I ended up doing that. I paid someone like 20 or 25 grand. And I demolished the salon and started again. It was more so I needed that space, and it was good
Yes.
rent, and it was the right
Yeah.
choice. But I was like, I'm going to do that again. And
About
everyone
the
was,
only thing you kept was the basin. Everything else got moved around and changed.
oh, from the old
Yeah.
space. Yeah, 100%. And everything else I was like, this would have been easier if she just demolished the whole
Yeah.
thing. But when we left our old salon, there was nothing I was bringing. The only things that we were bringing are the stuff that the salon needs. Like I wasn't bringing cups or microwaves or anything. I was bringing nothing. This whole salon was set up from scratch. So it's like,
Amazing.
what is the point of having this whole salon set up? And I was like, I truly, truly believed that the right person would find it. And, you know, the woman that bought it is just this beautiful, like she just reminded me so much of myself. So I was like, I want her to have it. And her partner was really lovely and they bought it. And I was like, oh, that was, you know, I think I sold it for 25 or 30,000, maybe
Yeah.
30,000, which is huge. Like it was just a huge relief, but she was never going to be able to start a salon for
Yeah.
that much money. Like it costs a lot
No
to
way.
all the
No
basins and
way.
stuff. So
Yeah.
that's what I had said to you. Like you can sell it. Like
Yeah.
it's set up so beautifully. Your space is so beautiful.
And I was leaving everything behind.
Yes.
Like
that
the
no
money
one,
and time that went into it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So like it's not like you are walking out of some crappy ass salon and you're like, I'm gonna sell it.
Yeah.
You're walking out of this like glorious salon. So it makes the most amount of sense.
Yeah, yeah. So when you originally told me that idea, and I was like, oh, wow, I sat with it for probably about 5 to 6 months. I think because it was coming to terms that I wanted to downsize, but telling myself that downsizing is not a terrible thing.
It's the
right?
ego thing, right?
It's the ego thing, right?
You're
You
like,
think,
oh my
I've done
God.
it, I've made it, I've done the
Yeah.
big thing. It's beautiful. I'm so proud of it. And I was like, if I step away from this and go back to room renting, which at the time in my head I was like, is that like
Going
good for the
backwards?
yeah,
Yeah.
right? It's just like, oh, you're going backwards, you know? And I had to sit with it. I had to come to my own terms and be like, it's fucking not. And now that I am room renting, oh my goodness, the best thing I've done for myself this whole
told you.
year. Yeah, yeah. Because now I don't have the overhead.
Helena's like,
yeah.
We literally had a phone call about it. Literally this conversation. I was
But
like,
I feel like
dude,
you
I've
needed
done
to
it.
do
Like,
it.
we're
You
not going
needed
back.
to have the salon
I
because
had to tick it off.
it's like we go through this like, you know, working here, then work for ourselves, then rent
You
a space,
go up a
then have the
ladder.
salon,
Yeah.
and then you're like, how the fuck did I get here? I just got here because this was the progression. It's the same way with life. It's like meet the person,
Yep.
get engaged, get married, have the babies. It's the progression of life. It's like the
Yeah.
same with business. It's like, do I actually fucking want to be here? It's like when people say like, you know, people don't want to be employees anymore. It's like, yeah, they do, because owning a salon is fucking
lot,
hard.
yeah. Yep.
So it's, you know, it's not like that at all. It depends on where people are at in their life. And, you know, for us, especially in this industry, we need to stop making that when you're successful.
Yes.
You are successful
yeah.
when you have a salon and you have 10 people
You're
that work
successful
for
when you pulled in
That's
your
not
first
successful.
client.
Yeah.
Exactly
That's
right.
success
It's
right
success, yes. You're successful doing whatever you do. If you
Exactly.
decided that you don't want to be a salon owner and you have a job that you love, success.
Successful. Yeah.
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 You have a
Yeah.
job and a job that you love, and you love coming to work, and you've got great humans that you work with, and you
Yeah.
love your life. Successful. Like, who are we to say what success looks like?
Yes.
But it's ego. It's sitting in that ego of being like, I had a salon, now I'm selling it, now I'm going back to
Yeah.
room rental. What does this look
And
like?
I think because it was on like the mood board for so long, right? I was like, I've got to tick this off. And then I finally ticked it off and I was like,
Didn't feel how I thought it would.
well, it did for a little bit. And then the bills come. And then I
Yeah.
bought a house and I was like, oh, okay, my money isn't just, I can play with it now. I'm like, I've got a mortgage to pay, you know? I want to travel next year. I want to spend half my time next year overseas. And I was like having this giant salon, which I didn't need all the space as well. I went really big in the beginning, thinking bigger is better. I'm going to
I remember coming in and being like, this space is huge.
It's
we
huge.
could
And I had
room
so many
rent. And you were
ideas.
like, no. Like
Yeah.
it's perfect as it is. And I was like, let's put some walls up,
yeah,
girl.
yeah.
Let's rent this baby out.
I
Let's
remember
go.
Samara came in. She's like, wall, rent, go. And I was like,
Oh, but I like all this
And
space.
then a week later, I sat with her and I was like, fine, put
Yeah.
that wall up.
So quickly.
Oh,
You jump
yeah.
when you're like,
and
you know what, that was a good
When
choice.
I
Let's do
finally
it.
come to terms, I'm like, we're doing it. I'll have it done in a week. Like,
Yeah.
And when it came to like, I'm selling the place, I was like, let's sell this place. I was
Yeah.
like, I've decided I
Do you
want it
know
off
what
my
your
hands.
human design is?
You've done it with me
Oh,
one
have I?
time.
I need to look at it
I would
again.
be really interested.
I
I
can't
definitely
remember.
think
She's
there's
a
an
projector.
no, but I think there's an emotional authority over here, like as in like making the decisions.
See, I think she's splenic because that's a quick. That's
You
how I make
screenshotted it and
decisions.
sent
Yeah, I
it
was
to
gonna
me.
say, I think you
It's
did mine
somewhere.
too.
I did. Haha.
Yeah.
Mama.
But no, like once I decide I want to do something, it's like I want it done right this second.
That's
No,
I
but
think
she
she's-
was
I want it
like
done.
sitting on it for ages. So sat with it for the idea,
Yeah,
and then
sat.
it's like done.
It switched.
Yeah.
Yeah. If the light bulb switched, and I was like, okay. And now that I've gone into a small room, I just have a room. It's all I need. I pay a very, very small amount. I have so much more income coming in. I have so much more freedom. I do not have the stress of overheads and be like, I have a giant fucking salon on my hands that I have to continually run because there's also room
Yeah.
renters. Oh, and like the last few weeks, everyone's been like, Shay, you're so light, you're so airy. And I'm like, oh, thank you. It's because I don't have a giant salon. Like,
Yeah.
not because that was the only thing, but there was so many more responsibilities that came with having a giant lease.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't want to be responsible for this.
And it's like a tie down.
oh,
Yeah.
Yeah. And like
Yeah.
thinking, okay, I want to go overseas. Like my partner and I want to do this. We want to do so much work for travel. And I was like, I can't have a salon just
I
sitting
think
at home.
too, if you've decided and you got to that point, you've decided you don't want staff. Why have you got a big salon?
Right?
Yeah, exactly right.
Like
If
the
I
whole
was to do it
point of
again,
having a
I
sa-
would I would find a small. Actually, no, I don't want to do a big lease again. So I'm really happy with room renting. I
Yeah.
actually really am.
I think because
But-
the reason why you get staff is so that you can start coming off the floor. But
Yeah.
if you generally love being on the floor and you want to do it,
Yep.
then why do you actually need
Yeah.
Yeah.
a salon? Like
Yeah.
salons generally come with like you want to fill the rooms and you want to put more
Literally.
staff in there and you want to build it that way. But you made your decision that I don't want to do that.
I don't want this. I like being me. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like working my small amount of hours each week, making good money, and
Yeah.
then
Doing what you actually
Going,
like
doing
doing,
what I
and
love.
not
Yeah.
having to worry
Oh,
about the
I
stuff that you
don't-
don't like doing.
yeah, work's just fun. It doesn't
Yeah.
feel like it's ever like, oh, work.
I think as well, like one thing that I know I always had to kind of ground myself with was obviously, you know, I had someone who, one of my best friends doing the same job as me, had this beautiful big studio,
Yeah.
and I was just a home-based studio.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
I
I've got
remember
no idea what that
constantly,
feels like.
yeah. But I constantly, like Jen, you
For
would
anyone that's
understand
home,
that.
Jen says, I know what that feels like.
But like it's true because I had to really like pull myself back in when I would compare myself to Shay and her success of building this big salon when we at the end of the day we were doing the same amount of clients per day.
Yeah.
We were pulling in like similar wages and I was like, okay, I have to remember my clients come and see me at my home studio that I have made beautiful to my standard and I'm happy and that's what matters.
But also there was the other side of me being like, fuck, I wish I did. Like I was so envious that
Like,
it
look
was
at you
so
just ending your
carefree.
day and that's
Like,
it.
no, it was,
ending.
yeah, it was like, oh, she's at home. If I could build a salon outside of my home, I absolutely would. I love that idea. And I was like, oh, I wish I didn't have to worry about all of this as well. So you can see it
So
from
I
both
mean,
sides.
and that's the thing. Like we'd have phone calls every day talking about it, and we would constantly just be going back and forth with
Reminding
each
each
other.
other,
But we would have to also, like Shay just said, remind each other that we're both where we needed to be at that point in time.
Yeah.
And then moving forward, we both now rent rooms.
Yeah.
In a commercial
Yeah.
space, and
Yeah.
we're both so content. And we're creating this path for our future endeavors with business
Yeah.
for ourselves.
So you're feeling super light.
Feeling super loud.
This episode is brought to you by Kevin Murphy, distributed by Ozday. Kevin Murphy's high-performing, naturally gorgeous products are the perfect blend of fashion, performance, and environmental genius. This award-winning brand treats hair care like skincare, using naturally beneficial ingredients harvested from the Australian outback. Kevin Murphy's conscious colour brand was born from fashion and driven by performance. I was lucky enough 2 years ago when I opened my beautiful new space. I wanted a brand that fit in with that perfectly, and Kevin Murphy was it for me. Kevin Murphy also performs in such a beautiful way, and I have clients that are obsessed with everything they're using. A brand for me was really important to have a nice big range where I could tailor to my clients exactly what they needed, and Kevin Murphy keeps performing constantly for me. I am so excited that I get to work with Ozday and Kevin Murphy, and I am so excited to take you on this journey with us.
So that side of things is gone now.
It's tied. It's done.
It's tied.
Yep.
It's done.
Sold.
Okay. We're sold. We're in the new space
Yep.
because we're creating space to be able to do
Ash education.
Also, I'd like to bring up here.
Oh god.
I know exactly what you're saying because Samara told us to do this. This was Samara's
I would like to
seed
bring up
planting.
Here we go.
To both of them. I was
Can
like,
someone put a spotlight on Samara
yeah. Anthea, this is all for you.
as well? Yeah.
I was like, you two cannot have an education business with the two of you. And they were like, what? I was like, there needs to be a third person.
You
I was
literally.
like, there has to be
You
a
used
third
to
party.
say there needs to be a Jen.
Yeah.
There needs to be
I
a
did.
Jen. And I was like, do
you
we
can even hire Jen. Yeah, they were like, do we hire
Can we
Jen?
have
I was
her?
like, I don't know, I'll ask her. This was as you were like leaving here.
Yeah.
We could ask Jen. I was like, there has to be a Jen. There
We
cannot,
almost did.
Anthea is our Jen.
it cannot
Like,
be Shay and Helina.
It is so
and they were like,
interesting.
what? And I was like, I know how you both work, and this will crash and fucking burn if you don't have a middleman, because
Anthony's probably listening to this going,
I was like, I know what your middleman needs to be. And then, yeah, when they were developing it, I was like, there's the person that needed to be in this.
And it works
Yep.
so beautifully. Because like with the podcast, Helena and I, we have Shay as well, who's our middleman for this. Because together we have these great, incredible ideas, but we need help executing
yeah.
and staying on track and not going shopping, not just going out for coffee. It's like, okay, we need to stay on track. And when we were creating, and it was Bella Beauty who's Anthea owns Bella Beauty. It's this incredible brow business based for like products and giving to the brow community. She's now like one-stop shop. And she has a wealth of knowledge as well, but she's also not on the tools with clients as much anymore either. She's basically just in a beautiful warehouse. So we had always kind of thrown the idea around like, oh, we want to do training stuff. We want to travel. But we're like, we don't want to just do it together. And it's also scary bringing in a new business partner being like, is it going to fucking work too?
Also,
Yeah.
she's got I think people obviously with her mindset and how she works and develops and stuff like that, she's developed this massive business that all the beauties
Anthea
like
and
beauties
Joe,
own. So at the end of the day,
they're
she
amazing.
can
Yeah.
see things differently to
Absolutely.
what you guys are as well. Like
Yeah.
she can see how a business runs. She can see how things need to be placed. She can see the bigger picture of it and know how to foster and love you guys within it so that you can
she's literally
just
like our
flourish.
brow mum.
Yeah.
Not in the way that, you know, she's like, do this, do that. But
Oh,
it's just this different
We all have
different
our
personality
own
coming
kind
in,
of
helping
Yeah.
mesh
Yes,
us all together.
that's
so
what I mean.
beautifully.
It's
Yep.
just being able to see, which is why I said to you guys, you need someone to overlook and see the bigger picture. Like it's funny because sometimes Rich, and like you guys will understand when they say this, Richard tells people that I'm his Beyonce. Like he's like, she's my Beyonce. She just turns up, does what she needs to do, like shines, and then just like I'll do the
Leaves
like
the
her and
stage.
him and Jen will like sort the background stuff. But it's the same type of thing sometimes. I don't do well. It's so silly, but knowing too much. Like you guys were like, you know, we didn't have to prep anything. I'm like, I didn't prep shit either. Like, because for me, off the cusp, talking like this is what I do every day for a living. I know how to cultivate conversation, but there needs to be people that know how to do that side of it and do that side of it really well. Otherwise, the business doesn't get done either.
Yeah.
And knowing how to go, this is how I know how to foster what you need and what you need, and this is what I need you to do. And then it feels like this partnership. Otherwise, within two people, it sometimes can feel a little bit like, well, you were meant to do that. Well, you were meant to do that. It's like one person being like, I start you. You do this. Good,
Yeah.
Go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally, it just works.
Yeah.
Having all three personalities and Joe in there as well.
Yes.
But yeah, Ash is Anthea, Shanae, and Helena. So just we
And
were
you
coming up
would
with
literally
names.
die at how long it took us to come up with that. Like, I'm talking like 3 business meetings.
I was laying in bed the other night for some reason thinking about this, like just thinking about the edge. I don't know. I think you and I just text.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like laying in bed being like thinking about it. And I was like, that works so well. I'm like, I bet you that took so long to work out.
We had this day where we were like, we need the name sorted
Because
we
need to register shit.
Yeah, we need to get shit sorted.
Yeah.
And we sat with this giant whiteboard in front of us all around this big table. And
love a
ideas
whiteboard.
are getting thrown left and right. And we're like, no. And Joe's on the side like, oh, like, what are these? And he's bringing up some really cool ideas. And Anthony's like, no.
What were some of the other
and Joe
ideas?
are like mum and dad, like they're
What were some of the other ideas?
Femina
Yeah.
was another one that we
that
really
feels
liked.
so wrong as
yeah.
well.
But it's like now that we've got Ash Education and like we envisioned Ash Education, we were like, nah. Like as soon as I liked it straight away.
I had to sit with
You
it
had
for
to
a
sit with
moment.
it. Anthea hated it straight away.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I was like, no, I really like that. And I kept coming back to that. Like I was instantly driven
did,
to that
yeah.
and Femina Education.
Yeah.
I think that was Spanish for something.
I don't know. Yeah.
Anthea's
she's
Italian, sorry. But yeah.
The thing is, when I look at it, things like that, I'm like, how would I spell Femina Education? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Whereas
I
Ash
know.
is easy.
Yeah.
Simple,
It comes off
easy,
straight away.
comes off your tongue.
And it makes
simple.
sense now that we've like, that was like us three girls.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's coming together. We have our first event in like less than just over 4
Holy
weeks. I think.
yeah.
So what's happening with the event?
Yeah.
What are you doing? Like,
What are you doing?
Well, we actually have a very special guest at our event.
it's me.
And it hasn't been announced yet
I know.
that you're coming. So,
We'll
but
sort that
like
today.
this all like we can
This episode comes out next week. Excellent.
So yeah, we've got 2 days at the Lush, which is a stunning space in
Chef's kiss.
Brisbane. We actually went to an event there together and literally fell in love with it. And we were like, we need to inquire with this. So yeah, 2 days there, things from obviously education, guest speakers. We're just doing things where like we wanted it to be educational, but not boring batshit
Sit down.
educational
Yeah.
and
We
not
wanted
like,
an
oh, I
event.
don't know who's sitting next to me kind of thing.
Yes.
So like we've gone down from even having name badges made for everyone with their name and their business, because in our day and age, that's how you know people.
Yeah.
Like you know that Samara owns La Sorella and
Yeah.
you may only know La Sorella from Instagram. You may not know
Yeah.
Samara. So that's one thing that I
Love
think
that.
we struggle with when we go to business events sometimes.
And it's just like a name,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then
not
you-
a white tag.
And I'm
You're
like, oh my God, I think I don't know who you are. And then
But then you see the business name, you're like,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
That's
where
you.
she's
Yeah.
from.
So that's one thing. It's just like we've thought about things
And
like
also
that.
seeing that on someone and being like, oh, I can go up and say hello.
Yes.
I don't.
Because-
And then also when someone comes up and recognizes you and you're like,
Yeah.
Oh,
I went
Yeah.
I went into the bank the other day and someone was like, hey, Sammy. And I was like, she called me Sammy.
She knows me really well.
Like, that's knowing
that old
me
school?
well. Like, that's what my family call me and my
Wow.
closest friends. No one else calls me that. And I was like, hey. And I was like, literally was like complete blank. Like, oh my fucking God.
Oh God.
And then
Nothing
because she needed
worse.
to send something for me, she passed me across her business card
Mm.
where it had her name on it. And I was like, oh, thank God. Like she's an old client's daughter. But because she's grown up, I didn't recognize her.
Yeah.
Like she looked really different. And I was like, oh, thank fuck. I was terrified for a minute there.
It's crazy though. But yeah, so things like that we've thought down to a T. And then
Yeah.
like a little like, you know, the first hour of our first day, we have a coffee cart there for people to literally meet new people.
Nice.
That's the goal.
Yep.
So yeah, we wanted it to be based around obviously education, which there is just so many fundamentals that we have put into this training, but also, you know, we want people to leave with new friendships, because Shay and I met through the industry and look at us now, like one of my best friends.
I think the biggest thing
So-
that we're trying to bring together is the community, right? While
Which
having
we-
it all be fun and exciting and educational. And then also not just having it be a one-person talk show, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've got 3 educators doing 3 different techniques in one place. So that was our biggest thing. And like you just said, community is everything.
Yeah.
And making
Especially
friends in
for
the
an
industry.
industry like yours, where you've got
Yeah.
a lot of people that are working on
By
their own,
ourselves.
Literally,
you know,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
just, you
Yeah.
know, maybe don't have the confidence to reach out to people,
Yes.
and that just puts them in that space together to feel
Yeah.
comfortable.
And
to be
you
like,
also,
hey, friend.
you never know what type, like you guys would assume if I went to an event, I would be like, what's up? Hey, what's up?
I know
Oh,
you
What
no.
am I
are.
actually like at an event, Jen?
She won't talk to anyone unless they talk to her.
Yeah. I sit in the corner and
I know,
listen.
I saw you at
smiles
Sherelle's little
at
thing.
everyone.
Oh no, so quiet. I stayed
Samara
with
was,
Helina.
like,
I was like
stuck
this.
to me.
I was like this the whole time. I was like, don't leave me.
I was like, what the
Don't
hell?
leave
You're
me.
like the
Don't
coolest
leave me.
person here.
No.
Why are you
I was like,
why are you
don't leave me. I'm staying here.
But it is really nerve-wracking going to an event like this. But you got to get out of your comfort zone, and having a little thing, just like a simple name badge and an hour to have a coffee and a catch up with friends just helps you settle into an event like this. Like
agreed.
it is quite a big one too. We've made it big and beautiful. But yeah, you need time to just like ease into it, not sit down, shut up and listen, right?
Yeah.
The nice thing with you providing those name badges too, it's like it makes people feel that you've invested in the fact that they're coming. Like they really wanted me to come. They've put in the effort to make these badges that's actually for me.
Yeah.
You know?
Not just show up, write your name on a sticker.
Yeah.
It's like, I guess in a way as well, like even how we teach our students and our any form of education is how we would expect to learn it. So with us actually creating an event, it's our standard of an event. So it's like what we would expect. So yeah. Very excited.
I love that.
Brisbane's our
that.
first one. That's in October. And then we're planning Sydney next year. We've got Melbourne, Perth, Adelaide. And then we want to skyrocket overseas. So that's like Australia first and then head off, which is the
We're
big
very
boy.
excited.
Yeah, it's
That's
incredible.
amazing.
But that's what I mean though. It's like with us three coming together, we are so different in our work. Even Shay and I, between a comparison between us two, we're so different products, technique, the way we just in general. So for us to bring literally 3 of that into one training, it hasn't been done before.
And I think that's really important too, because
You don't
it's
want
like-
carbon
it's the
copies
same-
in life,
No,
right?
no.
Yeah.
It's the same when you're a hairdresser and you learn from different hairdressers.
Yeah.
You learn, like you'll see my now seniors, my apprentices have turned into seniors. They are little bits of all of us. They're not
And
carbon
how
copies
cool.
of me or they literally develop their own flavour.
It's
I
just
have,
not.
I have a question actually.
Go.
If you guys were to go to a big event
Yes.
like this, a day or 2 days, 3 days, something like that, is there something that you would like want to have there, or something that you feel like you've gone to events before and they've missed the mark? Is there anything that you could
I was
give
actually
us?
thinking this. I went to an event. It's not as many people, but I went to an event, and it's something that I will do moving forward, even though I'm so uncomfortable and I'm such an introvert with stuff like that. But I went to an event. There's an amazing educator. Her name is Kim from Boho Blonde.
Love
in
her.
Perth.
I see her and I love her.
She's incredible. But as we walked in, she said hello to all of us and chatted to all.
Greeted at the door.
Hey, greeted at the door. How
Yeah.
are you?
We
So
made-
good to see you. And I thought that was really special because normally I'm such an introvert that I sit back and then at the last minute I'm like, hey guys, like I'm happy talking to everyone, but really uncomfortable, like individually introducing myself. And it's my shit, but it sometimes would make me look like
Aloof.
Bit
like I'm being a
standoffish
bit standoffish and
Yeah.
a bit obnoxious. Like
We-
where it's actually just because I'm like desperately shy
Yeah.
that I feel uncomfortable when until I know the room. And then the minute I know the room, I'm like, I melt and I'm like butter. I can like talk to
Love that.
everybody.
Yeah.
But I thought it was really nice how she came around and she stood at the door and said hello to everybody.
so
and,
important.
and it allowed people to kind of like, and even being able to, and this is something that not in an event, but to do in an event, you know, be able to foster being like, oh, this is this. And you guys like are close by, and like, you know, being able to foster that community where everyone can have those conversations. It was like for me, our dinner that we had for Salon Rising's first birthday. And it was like something like that, fostering that type of community for me where everyone felt heard and seen. And like that dinner was everything for
It was
me. If I
beautiful.
could bottle that love in that room. Sorry, Helena. It was so good though. If you could bottle that love in the room so that everyone by the end of it felt comfortable because they were talking to somebody
Everyone had
else.
a voice as well. Everyone was heard. Everyone had a beautiful story to share as well. It was
Yes.
really nice.
Yeah.
Sorry, darling.
So, but it's more
Sit here
so
and bottle it up myself.
Yeah. It's more so being able to, I guess, make sure that people feel like, so that you can kind of, because you'll know different people where you can kind of put people together. And a lot of the times people are coming, yes, they want to see the education, but they want to see you guys.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so being able to have that moment with you guys where they can talk and feel seen and heard will be massive.
I love that was one of Samara's things, because that's definitely something that we've said will be
It's a
incorporated.
must-have. Yeah.
3 of
Yeah.
us, one has a job at the door. One
Yeah.
at
There's a
two-
station.
there's literally one at the door giving the name badges.
First introduction.
Hey
Yeah.
Shay, how are you, girl? So excited.
Yep.
2 over or 1 over at the coffee station,
Yep.
yelling out, you know, Jen, this is your coffee, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
we're not celebrities.
Yes.
We're brow artists too.
Yep.
And I think that's one thing that we've all like Shay, Anthea, and I, we don't see us above anyone else in the industry. We're all just simply wanting to share our knowledge with the artists that are joining us that day.
So
Yeah,
fucking cool.
and create a community.
Yeah.
I think for me too, like we've been at events sometimes where you can tell that what the person who's, you know, educating or speaking is putting out is what they think they should and not authentically who they are. And I think that's like if just be real,
Be you,
and the
yeah.
people that need to see and take in what you're saying will. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
don't put up a front of what you think it should be like.
I
That's
think
my big thing.
I got really caught up in that. I don't feel like I ever was trying to portray to be someone else, but there's a look that I always had in my head going into the beauty industry. You've got to look beautiful, put together.
Yeah.
I've got my own little stereotypes that I still try and break down, but it's like, even when we went to an event the other day, I had a light bulb moment. We were out at someone else's event her name's Uli, she's from Canada. And she is just this bundle of like uniqueness. Like, and every single person in that room was hanging off her. She was making her own little jokes, but she was just being herself. And I feel like I was preparing myself to go to this event being very professional and like, okay, you're on, you've got a structure. And after seeing her do that, I was like, girlfriend, just relax, be you.
Yeah.
Like, don't get all caught up in being like what I think everyone else should be seeing and what I think they're paying for. Like you just said, they're coming to see us and meet us just being ourselves.
Yeah.
So I had to kind of
And I
check
think
myself
with
as well.
podcasts, it's one of the best ways, I think, to
That you
be
get to know,
authentically
yeah.
you. And you guys have done that through yours, and it's so successful.
Thank
You are authentically you on that podcast. So I think we've got this importance to show up as who we are authentically on our podcast.
Yeah.
Because if we don't, there's a disconnect, and then you feel like you're not standing into who you're meant to be when you teach.
Absolutely.
And you have to, I think, with anything, like my girlfriend says all the time, you can be the juiciest peach in the entire world, but not everybody likes peaches.
Yeah.
Like, so not everybody is going to like
like
us.
that one.
I was going to say, love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, not everyone is going to vibe with us, not everyone, but they're not. It's the same with our clientele with education. It's the same with our clientele in the salon. Like, not everybody's our clientele, and not everybody's our education clientele, and that's okay, because all we've got to do is be who we are, and we
And the people
then
who need us will
yeah,
come. Yeah.
it's the same with Salon Rising. Like, I don't want to work with everyone. I want to work with my ideal people that I feel truly connected with, and you know, and those people will find me based on who I am, not
Exactly.
who I'm pretending to be.
Yeah.
And based off who you work with as well and things like that.
Yeah.
So definitely.
But I think you guys have. I think you are thinking, like, you've got 3 incredible minds that are already thinking what do we need if we go to an event, and you're thinking of all those things. I think it's important to watch the crowd, because you'll get to a point where everybody, I think I've gone to events before where you can tell everybody's done,
Yeah.
and then they just keep going, and you're like, you don't need to keep going, just wrap it up. Like,
Yeah.
and you think, oh, but we've said we were going till this time. It's like, but everybody is done.
Yeah.
Like, and I did that.
feel it.
I had that the other day, actually. We did a full day course with Culture Rising, and like, we were meant to go till 4:30, but by 3, you could tell they were both like, we're so fucking done.
Yeah.
And I was like, we've done all the content. Let's get off.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you're done.
Yeah.
I'm done. Like, so yeah. So often
If you need
go,
to talk about anything afterwards, that's fine, but don't keep pushing the
it's
information.
feel like you keep,
Yeah.
yes. Because you think you need to fill those spaces. It's like, well, guys, we've wrapped up early. You stoked? It literally everybody when you
I
go
love
to a
an early
course.
finish.
Me too.
Hell
Love
yeah.
it. I'm like, get the cocktails flowing, guys.
Yeah.
Like, we do have cocktail after, and I was like, I do want to say, like, have them on standby, because we can feel that the room's like, and
gonna
they're stressed.
yell
Like,
out
get
to the
co-
bar.
get
And
the
because-
cocktails, let's
Bring in
chat.
the co-
Yeah.
yeah.
We're creatives. We get to the point where we're like, I'm fucking tired.
Yeah, I'm done.
Yeah, I'm
Really
done.
good. Shay and I are like that too. I feel like in a way we are. We bounce off each other with our social batteries a lot.
Yes.
And sometimes it's just like, I'm
Like,
I'm done.
Tap out.
ooh, the
Yeah.
batteries
And
are
I
done.
think even
Yep.
saying that, guys, if your social battery taps out, you have to go and get yourself a coffee across the road, take a moment, go play on your screen.
Literally.
Like, go. Like, this.
Not offended.
This course is for you guys. If you need to go and have a minute and like recharge yourself and try and like, you know, and or if you decide you're done, go. Like,
Yeah.
it's fine.
Yeah.
Because we feel this pressure to be in it and to be watching it all and take it all in. They say like you take 10% of something, 10% of it.
Sometimes the people actually need to leave to be able to take the information in, because
Yeah.
once they get to that point, they're just like, you know,
Yeah.
just swooping over the head.
Literally.
Nothing's going anymore.
Yeah. You guys can, when you've worked with me, like the first sort of half an hour, you're like, yeah. And then by the end of it, Shay's like, all right, I got to go, bye. Like right on like 5 minutes early. I got to go, I got to go. See ya. Other people, I'm on the phone for like 4 hours. Shay's like, yeah, I'm out, bye.
I will happily tap out early at any point. I'm always the first person to leave.
And you're
anywhere.
the youngest.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm bored. No, I'm not bored, but I'm like, I'm done. Bye now.
My
Like,
brain's done.
Got the information I needed.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm finished.
I hope it doesn't come across rude, but sometimes I'm just like, I'm ready to leave. Like,
Halfway through the Ash education, she's like,
Shay's like, oh, I'm actually over
Never.
this.
I'm exhausted, Gally. I'm gonna be going.
bedtime.
So with Ash Education, so you've got the live formats.
Yeah.
Is that the main format that you're going to be running with? No.
We've got two babies. So we've actually just been doing a whole bunch of filming for online
So we'll have
education.
an online as well. So
Excellent.
Yeah. So obviously, we do want to get across the globe, but it could be in a year or two time. We don't really know. We haven't got that far. So we wanted to have that online education platform as well, where if someone wants to learn, we're playing with the idea of how we're going to format it, but they either might want to learn the big boy, go for the biggest one, learn everything, or even just small little
upskill on a small
little mini sections. So we're just trying to play with that now.
I think as well though, we wanted it to be that, sometimes people can't make an event because of commitments or family or financially.
Yeah.
And we didn't want someone to miss out for that reason.
Yeah.
So having the ability to learn from an online platform, like we wanted to be
able to
all
help
access.
worldwide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it depends on the person too. Like
Yeah.
we've
Absolutely.
done online education, we've done in-person education. It just depends on what
Different
flavor
people
you
learn in
feel like.
different ways.
Yeah,
Exactly.
People vibe
It's
with
the
different
same with
things.
Salon Rising. Like we're trying to really be as
Broad in what we
broad as
offer.
we can. We're going to have the online stuff. We're going to have the in-person stuff. We're going to have the Zoom stuff because how one person learns to how another person learns and what they
So
actually
different.
need.
Yep.
It's also like, do they need community? At which point they want to sit with other people and do this because they feel like they need to be heard and seen.
Yeah.
Or do they want to do this on their own, or
Yeah.
they want to do this in their own time.
Exactly.
Like we need to let people learn how they need to learn.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah. But no, they are probably our two biggest ones right now. And
for
there's
now.
a few other little ventures, but they're in the works. Yeah.
All right, I'm going to
So
ask
exciting.
I'm going to ask you a coach question.
Oh
Okay.
God. You're going first this time. then.
Okay.
I've gone
No
first.
more
I've
water,
gone-
guys.
I'm taking the team
Literally.
What
Why am I nervous?
I know, I love. Oh my god. Okay, Shay, you can go first.
Yeah.
What is your 12-month goal?
To travel and work, like to not be stressed while traveling,
Yeah.
but to be able to take Ash education also as well as the Naked Brow overseas.
Shay and Helina take fucking Europe. I look forward to this reality TV series.
And like be able to share our journey
Anthony's
as well.
just going to be there being like, oh god,
She-
like. Here's your
Where's your
passports. Here's your
She
shit.
literally
Here's the room. I've booked it. I've done it all. And you two are just going to be like, ah.
But as well, being able to share that journey as well. Like I know Helina and I, we love documenting and sharing. Like we got the podcast, we've got our YouTube account, and even to make more vlog style stuff and be able to just not get stuck in the box and be like, I've got to stay here because that's how I make money and that's how I pay my mortgage. I want to live and work, and I love what I do for work. So being able to take it around the world is where I want to be. And by this time next year, I want to say I've at least gone to 3 different countries.
Wow.
So yeah,
Okay.
that's me, and have Ash go with us.
Very similar answer from me because obviously taking Ash education is shifting up to a main priority for me.
Yep.
So alongside Barefaced Brows, Ash education's right there with it. I definitely still see myself doing clients in at least a year's time, probably smaller hours, but also maintaining like my work-life balance. Because since my weight loss surgery, like I have prioritized health and fitness and I've dropped the ball on that. So
Even in that in itself, it's crazy to think when I met you 2 years ago,
I would have been 60 kilos heavier.
you were just
So different. But that's the thing though, like I made the promise to myself that I'd always would maintain that balance through life, and I know I've dropped the ball in that. So for me, it's just going to be working up with business and then maintaining like the balance between it. Especially now, you know, I have other priorities in my life that I need to keep up with as well. So
love. Okay, you can go first again.
Okay.
What would you say? So we worked together obviously like 9 months ago, but we've stayed in contact. I stay in contact with all my humans because
you're Samara.
deeply obsessed with don't leave me. What would you say was one of your biggest learnings when you and I worked together?
One thing I constantly come back to is I was having a situation where I had a staff member and, you know, things were good, but I just knew it wasn't for me. And I had to keep coming back to you and like, you were very much just, is it good for the business and is it good for me? Not being a people pleaser. I think if I had to wrap it all up is not just make everyone else happy, but like make me happy and make sure that my business is going in a direction that suits my style and not just trying to follow the crowd and, you know, time to get staff or time to do this. But it was just what's good for Shay and what's good for my business and put me first and not just please everyone else and make everyone else happy and give. So yeah, I think I just answered like 3 little different questions. But yeah.
And I think
biggest for sure.
for me, seeing that, you've just fostered that so much harder.
Yeah.
Like
even when I was going through with the salon stuff, I kept coming back to, okay, what would Samara do? Okay, how would she go about this? Because
WWSD, is that the shirt I should get?
You are such an inspiration of mine and such a mentor.
Absolutely.
And it's really just like, what would Samara do? Like tapping it, like, what the fuck would she do in this moment? But like, yeah, I can constantly come back to just how strong you are for not only yourself, but everyone else around you.
Oh,
Yeah.
thanks, babe. I feel very excited that I get to watch your very first journey with Ash, and I get to be there and support you guys. And
We can't wait to have you there
Honestly,
with us.
so excited.
we did not even
Holding our
hesitate
hands.
when we thought, like, who do we want there with us? Because
when I got the very professional email from Helina, I was like,
You would have died. Like,
is
Helena's
this
emailing.
Helina? Like, I don't think this is a Shay email. This is not a Helina email. And then, yeah, of course, the funniest thing about that was then my email just refused to go back to her.
and it was like this ironic thing because Rich will say as well, like, I never open emails.
Never.
And like it was
Or
always
text messages.
It was all. I'm the worst responder, but it was like Samara would be like, Helina, we have a system where we can see you've opened the email. And I'm like, I'm gonna reply.
She's getting there.
And then literally when Samara had replied to me, I was like, this bitch is playing me.
It's so funny
in the
because you were
salon.
here.
Yeah, and you're like, was that Helena or is that you? And I was like, that was Helena.
Yeah, I was like, I'm so proud. See, this is why there needed to be a third that directed her to do that job.
Yeah, it was.
But then, then it just
delegated.
refuses to get back to you.
And I was like,
I sent it
I
3
literally
times.
sent a follow-up. I was like, haha, this is so funny, but following up.
I was like, I've sent you that email 3 times. But the funniest thing was when she sent the follow-up email, I'd already sent a text message saying, hey, I'm not sure if you're getting my emails. And then she sent me a follow-up email and I was like, look at your text messages.
I hate that Samara has so many point of contacts to me.
Oh my God, so many accesses. I'm like, I will DM, I will
like,
text message, I will bloody carrier pigeon, whatever it needs to do. I will find you. All right.
Literally. I think my biggest thing I took away from Salon Rising in the nicest way possible was the kick up the ass for it for me.
You're
and
good
you
at the
know,
kick up the arse.
yeah, but it was like it was a loving kick up the ass,
Yeah.
and it was like a being told that like things I needed to implement into my business. I was like, yeah, she's right. I need to do that.
Can I tell you
It's
one
the
quick
accountability,
story?
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you
were
gonna
shopping. You were shopping. And I had just got you a Sabo gift voucher. And Samara was like to you, no more shopping,
She wasn't allowed
Helena.
to spend any money.
And you posted on your story like, go buy stuff. And then you're like messaging, you're like, I just told you not to spend.
No, I think I just sent like this emoji.
She literally, when I seen I had a message from Samara, I was like,
You're like,
oh,
God.
damn it, I need to hide Samara from my shit.
And you're like, Shay gave it to me. Shay
And
gave it to me.
she gave me a voucher and I sold some clothes. And I was like, Really?
Girl math, it was
Really?
free.
Girl math, it was free. Oh my God. We should have come up with girl math ourselves at that
honestly,
time.
should have trademarked that. But it was, for me, I was very, like, I started Barefaced when I was 19. So I was so blasé. I was like, hell yeah, I'm making all this money. I can do all this shit. And then Samara was the one that kind of pulled me back down to earth. And she's like, Helina, you are making all this money, but it's not all your money. This needs to be put
it's not all
here.
yours.
Yeah, and that was
You were the
one thing.
first person to tell me
I
that.
genuinely, I literally
Damn
still
it,
have.
why? Sorry, it's the tax man's.
Oh, but this is what I
Comes
mean.
knocking.
I have Samara, like, literally, I can hear her voice in my head most days being like, this isn't yours. Like 10% of this and 10% of that. And you need to put this money in here. And one thing I literally remember, like, you saying to me, like, I quote, was, why do you feel as if you need to have all your money in one account? If you have a big amount in one account, it means absolutely fuck all. It needs to be spread across these accounts for these different bills and whatnot. And I still, like, it's still implemented within my business now. My business structure is Samara. So it's Salon Rising. And it's like, you know, I got pulled out of a lot of shit with my tax bills with Samara that I have kept going, and I even implemented in with Keegan now, my partner, and I've like let, like, you know, other friends know, like, this is how I've structured Barefaced, and this is how I stay afloat, and this is how I still can afford to shop at Subway Skirt every day.
It feels good though, because once you start building all of that, I get it, because I feel like and this is the girls who are always like, you're our mama, like, but it's because I'm not that much older, calm down. But it's because I feel like I have gone through a lot of the stuff that you guys,
I was
like,
going to say,
are just that little bit further ahead of, I've gone through all this shit.
I think
I had a
that's-
massive spending habit. I didn't save shit. Jen knew that I had a massive spending habit.
Yeah.
But it's once I hit rock bottom and realized I wanted a different financial future for myself. Not that I don't spend. Amazon and I are best friends. But
I love you, Amazon.
I don't now spend in a way that is to fill anything. It's like I spend now because I need something, or I want to, like, you know, I want to get something for myself, and that's fine. But the spending
different
used to,
relationship with it
it's
now.
a different relationship.
Yeah.
The spending in the beginning was just like, you just keep doing it, you just keep doing it, you just keep doing it. I watch it across so many humans that I've worked with, and I'm like, you've got to reel that back in. And once you do, and once you see that structure and the financial in your business start to grow, you're like, I don't want to do that anymore. Like it almost stops.
It was
The
probably
habit
one of my,
stops.
like, favorite, or probably, like, just something that sat with me the most whenever I had a conversation with Samara. She was like, Helina, just tell me what's going on. And I never felt judgment, and Samara was the first person I have ever
remember you saying
let
this.
into my business to see, because I wasn't going amazing. I was keeping afloat. And Samara was the first person that I had ever let in to see my financials
So scary
of my
too.
business. That's what I mean.
Letting
And
your walls down.
literally, I let my walls down for Samara, and she showed me that it was okay that I was in this position. And she would remind me, you still have work tomorrow. You still have a roof over your head. You've still fed yourself today. And it was just like the constant of knowing, like, okay, like, she's not judging me. And Samara constantly saying, I've been there, Helina. I have been in this position as you. And I was like, okay, well, I'd look at Samara and be like, well, shit, girl, get me to where you are. So it was just like almost like the comfort level that you felt, but you knew that you could still open up and be vulnerable, but know that you weren't going to, you know, she wasn't going to hang up and talk shit about you with the next client kind of thing. So
Yeah.
I
it was a
remember-
massive thing for me.
Yeah, I remember. I'm sure we've all had a giant tax bill come in, and you're like, "Oh fuck, that's really scary." Yeah, but I
so
remember
bad.
my first.
I have definitely had that. The
My
amount of
first
money I
one.
pay in tax is absolutely revolting.
Scary.
Yeah.
But I remember one of my first big fat giant bill came in, and it was just a one-off. And I think there was like my old accountant sent me like, you owe the tax. I think it was like 78,000, and I was like, I had just done the salon, my money, and I was like, what? Like, no. And this was before you had Salon Rising, you started, but I think I had just come to you for like a hair wax, a hair trim, and you were kind of just giving some knowledge, and I was like, hey, can you help me with this? Like, I need help because I don't know what to do.
I was like, I would love to help.
And I remember
I
you
like
came
to
with
give
a big
my
book.
knowledge.
Yeah, you came with a giant book, and you were like, okay, well, where's this going? And where's this going? And, you know, where's your tax account? And I was like, well, here's my money. Like, that's all my money.
tax account
Yeah, and I was
you
like,
speak of?
what do you mean? Like, I don't know. And you're like, Shay, not all this money is your money.
Oh, that literally suits us.
And-
You should have that as a tattoo.
And it was like, that
Not
was
all
the
your
beginning.
money. Not all the money you make is your money.
Yeah, just be like this. Write it on their forehead. Yeah. But that was the first moment that I was like, this lady's going to save me. And we started just working back and forth. But you would come sit with me for like 2 hours.
Yeah.
And like, I'd be like, okay, you're like, Shay, everything's going to be fine. We'll get it paid off.
Yeah.
But now, even though that was probably like 2 years ago, I get a tax bill coming now and I'm like, I've got this.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
easy.
That's
I
good.
don't stress. I don't have a crying like mental breakdown of like, I owe this much. I'm like, I've been prepared for this. Like, I'm ready. Take it today. It's fine. It's yours. It's not mine. It's yours.
But
And
also,
I know. But that is still something as well, coming back to the last question you asked me, that I will forever hold on to, you know, learning just those beginning basics that no one told me starting a business. I think everyone just assumes you know this and you're just like, fucking, you just think
But it's
make
exactly
money.
the same thing with you guys when it comes to
Yeah.
education. Like we think that we need to have like, and I still do it. I'm like, am I teaching enough? Jen, am I
Yeah.
enough? Like Jen's always like, can't. I'm like, I'm not giving enough. How do I give more? What do I do more? Someone's doing this better than me. It's like people just want the fucking great basics. People
Yeah.
want great
And it's
basics.
also just like
and what you
having
guys
you,
are saying,
like someone.
it's someone. Great basics of being like, okay, these things will stay with me for the rest of my life and will change my life for the rest of my life.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be the entire encyclopedia. It has to be little tips that make things so much easier.
I don't know about the hair industry, but the brow industry is a lot of like what's trending and what's new and what's exciting
Yeah.
and what's going to get you the most 30 million views. It's all these really like, and I think everyone's trying to jump onto it. But like you said, when it comes back to it, people just want to know how to do a great
Yeah.
fucking eyebrow.
Yeah.
And it's like just
And if you don't
coming back
have
down.
that, it doesn't matter what the trending
how,
thing is.
how
You're
pretty
gonna
and fun
do
it is.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fundamentals, people.
Fundamentals.
Not getting caught up in it all the
Yeah.
I need to do bigger and better and funner and more exciting. Just
The
give
basics.
the basics.
Yeah,
the
basically, if you
best.
haven't worked with Samara, what are you doing?
That's my girl. I gave you $5 letter. But I'm extremely proud of you both. Watching
Thank
where
you.
you've been and the growth and the things that you've continued to implement over the last 12 months is I feel so proud of you and so proud of Ash, and I can't wait to be a part of it and watch you guys thrive even more and, you know, feel like my advice has helped.
We
has.
wouldn't be here without you.
No,
and
absolutely
Salon
not.
Rising.
Absolutely.
And Rich as well. Like
Literally.
just I don't think all of you know how much you've actually impacted our
I was
lives.
saying, it's like
business
an
and
imprint.
personal.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it will forever be a thing. So we appreciate you
Yeah.
guys.
Not just saying it. It really is. Yeah.
It's not sponsored that. We
No.
just said that because we love you.
yeah.
Oh my God, I love you guys. Thank you.
That's beautiful.
This episode I don't want ever to end, but Richard's putting
we
too
do
much
have
fun
to.
in it.
Richard's
We
walked
do
past
have
us
to
twice
wrap
to
it
be
up.
like, time, girls.
You could talk forever.
I think
So
the
where do
catchphrase
people-
of today is "It's not all your money."
No.
It's not all your money.
It's
Yeah.
not
You'll
your
find
money.
it in the
And
show
we can
notes.
tell you twice.
So for any of my hair girlies that are out there that aren't following you guys, where do we follow you?
Well, I'm Barefaced Brows by Helina on
And
Instagram.
I'm the Naked Brow. And then we have Barefaced and Naked Podcast.
And
then we've got
Ash
Ash